I feel like I could go into the UFC and I could sit down in any department and I could play. I feel like that. You guys do too, right? You guys are, I could be the boss and I could be the this. I really feel like, oh, Chael, you're assigned to the PR department, you're assigned to the marketing department, you're with ad sales today, whatever it is. You want to know what would be a hard one? You want to know the job I don't know that I want to be assigned to is matchmaking. Matchmaking is colossally difficult, and it's something that's taken for granted. You have 3 of the finest minds in the sport that get together every Tuesday in a room, and then they can't even agree. Oh, and by the way, on the wall behind them, it says Art of War. It's a really difficult thing to do. So, and I always see people, by the way, I see people that go online and think they're really smart guys, and I don't criticize you. This is a very common thing to do, but they're going to put Ronda Rousey against Conor McGregor. It happens all the time. We're going to put Nick Diaz against, and they'll give it a, you bring in the 2 biggest stars and you act like you've done something. Anybody can sell a Ferrari, okay? Get the Volvo off the lot, and then you've done something. Then you've proven your worth. Okay. So we're going to do, I'm looking at 185 pounds. We're going to do Chimaev, Paulo Costa. We're going to make that a number 1 contenders match. Fair enough. This isn't rocket science. Fair enough. That plan, which is only 1 month from being hatched, that plan works perfectly if you can keep Sean Strickland quiet. If your plan to have Sean's next opponent is to come from that fight and you're getting ready to announce that, let's just use an example, this Saturday after Grasso and Shevchenko. If that's your plan, great. If you get that out in the next 24 hours, you'll win. If Sean beats you to the market, it doesn't work. If Sean beats you to the market and says, I'm not fighting Khamzat Chimaev. This is an example, by the way. Sean would never do that. If Sean does that, your announcement doesn't work, and the plan doesn't work, and the number 1 contenders match doesn't work, and you keep saying it, oh, yes, he will, I've got a contract, and Khan can say 20 times, oh, no, I won't. And I've dug in before publicly, and I will dig in again publicly, and I'm not going to fight that guy, and all of a sudden you're starting to scratch your head. Okay, but let's just say, right, we're playing a game of what if. But what if you've got a plan, your plan is going to work if you can keep Sean quiet until Saturday. Great. Right? Because it's not the same thing after the fact. You announce it a number 1 contenders match, and then Sean announces he's not going to do it. It's not the same thing. It is a massive game and a massive risk to make sure you get to the market before a different idea does, particularly if it's from your champion. Now, hold that thought. Sean's going to go on. He's going to fight the winner of Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, great. What do you do with Adesanya? What do you do with him? Where do you put him? Now, again, you're rolling a Ferrari off the lot, and I know your answer. You're going to put him with Du Plessis. Fine, fair enough. But this is where it gets complicated. What are they fighting for? Izzy and Du Plessis are going to fight in a main event of a pay-per-view. There's nowhere else you can place Adesanya. Nowhere else with the money he brings in that you can place him aside from a main event of a pay-per-view. So that's where you're going to put him in Du Plessis. And they got a red-hot fight. They got a red-hot fight. But it's a fight that failed to happen when a world title was on the line. Now it's the exact same fight. It's the same 2 guys for the same reason, in the same weight class, under the same unified rules, for the same up to 5-minute rounds, but there's no world championship. All right, fine. Guys in this sport do weird. We don't have to understand it. I'm just sharing. What are they going to fight for? Well, we're going to have to fight for number 1 contendership. It's not even a question on that. They're going to have to make that clear ahead of time. Hey, guys, I'm ranked number 1. This is Izzy talking. I'm ranked number 1. I dropped my strap in an upset to a guy. I agreed to fight 4 men. You brought 2 of them to the building, and I would have fought either one of them. You brought Jared Cannonier and Sean Strickland. I didn't know who was going to walk in the ring. I was going to fight. Izzy deserves tremendous credit for that. And I don't think that you guys have really looked at it from that perspective. There seems to be this massive understanding for fighters about last minute or short notice, or he didn't have a training camp, or this guy's foot hurt, or my girlfriend said I couldn't do it. Whatever it is, you seem to eat up those excuses. But if you're one of those people, it's incumbent that you look at the other side of the coin. There was 2 men in the building on Saturday night that Adesanya was going to fight either one of them. And it wasn't his choice. He left it to you. I don't mean you the fans. He left it to the promoter. You can put Jared Cannonier in the front row, or you can put him in the cage. You can put Sean Strickland in the cage as planned, or you can move him to the front row. I'll fight either one of them. That is a massive amount of courage, and he's going to come back to you, and he's going to say to you, I don't feel that I should be having to fight DDP. I don't feel that I should be having to fight anybody, particularly that I've got more courage and more willingness than anybody else on your roster. As a matter of fact, not only was I willing to fight two guys in the building that night, I agreed to fight Whitaker or du Plessis, all within the last training camp. In addition to these two guys, like, it's a really powerful statement. And that's going to gain a lot of respect if you bring it to their attention. If you don't bring it to their attention, nobody's even going to know what happened. You guys watched it happen, and you didn't know that it happened until it just came out of my mouth right now. So then you're going to have du Plessis. You're going to call him up and say, hey, man, we got you the fight. We got that fight you want. We heard that your foot's feeling better, so let's go ahead and do this. And du Plessis is going to go, well, wait a minute, where's the belt? They're going to say, well, he doesn't have the belt anymore. He's not the champion. You go, what am I fighting him for? What are you talking about? Oh, my God, there's a Battle of Africa, and you guys got this back and forth, and the whole stage is set. Du Plessis is going to say, yeah, I understand all of those things, but that's what I was told when I agreed to fight Robert Whitaker. What am I fighting him for? Are we crystal clear that this is the number one? Yeah, we are. Okay, great. Like, that's not a problem. I think that we would all understand that that's a number one contenders match. I'm just sharing with you, if you got these golden tickets and you're going to wave them around, I mean, if you're not going to put it in somebody's face and you're going to hold them to it, you're not going to come to the fans and you're going to hold them to it. You got to understand, if you put DDP with Adesanya, which is most likely to happen, like, I don't dispute that fact, and we got Paulo Costa and we got him getting ready to fight with Khamzat Chimaev, we got Sean waiting in the wings, ready to take on anybody. What do you do with Jared Cannonier? Oh, and by the way, do you remember a guy named Robert Whitaker? Now, at the end of the day, you got a really hard spot. You go, man, I got 6 really good guys. Of those 6 really good guys, 2 of them people are willing to pay to see. The other 4 guys are purely in the way. But if I do this just right, I can get those 4 guys bumped down. I can move number 7, 8, 9, and 10, who I need. I can bring these guys to, I can get the Bo Nichols and the fresh faces up here. But I got to get these other guys to agree to fight them. I met with a juxtaposition where I think a guy like Bo shouldn't be fighting the top guys. At the same time, I need him to fight the top because I got to switch the deck. You're put in a very interesting spot. And you have your number 1 ranked guy who is Adesanya, who's now told he's going to fight in a number 1 contenders match. But he's going to do that against a guy in DDP who is told that he's the number 1 contender. You have a guy that will spoil the entire deck with one tweet to mix up all of these old dinosaurs, right? All these killer badasses that only 2 of them can draw any money. Named Kamaru Usman. As soon as Kamaru Usman announces, I'm the number 1 guy, I don't care if it's at 170 pounds, I'm coming to do it here. And the proof I can do it is I've already beaten your champion. You have something very interesting to look at. Meanwhile, you have Belal Muhammad, who is told that he's a number 1 contender, and he's going to be a number 1 contender to a title fight that isn't even signed yet. Not to mention, he's been sitting on ice for a minute. And he's still got to go into a number 1 contendership for a title that isn't even signed yet. You got Belal Muhammad stepping forward saying, hey, I got a rightful claim to that belt. You told me I'd be a number 1 contender. I am the number 1 contender. Here's my ticket. I didn't tell you where I'm cashing it in at. Can't seem to get this fight done, whatever that is, with Leon and Colby. I'm tired of waiting. Now we're in a game of, hey, do you want to wait? Well, I was the number 1 contender. Well, if you want to fight, you don't get to be the number 1 contender. We got this game where we're both pointing a gun at one another. How about we do this? I got heat with Strickland. Strickland's got heat with me. There's very few things that are interesting at this weight class. Sean Strickland is the hottest thing at the weight class because he's the newest face. I got heat with him. I got gym wars with him. I got a problem with him, and I got a story to tell. Not to mention, I got a number 1 contender ticket. According to you, I'm ready to cash it in. And that's where things would get very interesting. And I believe if I was going to do a poll, which, by the way, I'm getting ready to do, and I was to ask you the top middleweights versus Sean Strickland, and then I throw you a curveball, and I ask you, or would you rather see Kamaru Usman at 185 pounds or Belal Muhammad at 185 pounds? And it doesn't have to be against Sean. It can be any of those top 8, 2 of which can draw flies. You're going to have a very different answer. If you match up DDP with Adesanya, which makes all the sense in the world, you got these other guys doing this. You got Sean sitting over here. You got Cannonier and Whitaker, who I think bought before and nobody actually knows. And what difference does it make anyway? Bring up Kamaru Usman. Bring up Belal Muhammad. Get the old guys out. Bring the new guys in. Give Bo Nickel a chance. Do anything except keep those same guys in the same position. My only ask.